In the name of our God of love. Amen. Please be seated. If there ever was a topic that leaps off the pages of the scriptures right in front of our eyes, it is found today in the first letter of John and in John's gospel. And what do you suppose this topic to be? Love. Love, yes. The word love is mentioned 15 times between these two passages. And so today I'm going to focus on love, and not just romantic love or love for family members, but the kind of all-embracing, self-sacrificing love that extends not only to those people we know, but also to strangers. The kind of love Jesus commands we show toward others as true friends. I read a recent article put out by a blog called Well-Being that defines what a true friend is. There are 6 definitions that are given. Most certainly, Jesus is talking about true friendship when he says, "I don't call you servants any longer, but I call you friends." So let's look at these 6 characteristics of what makes a true friend. First, a true friend has your back. A true friend stands up for you when others try to hurt you emotionally or physically. They do everything they can to make sure you are safe, no matter what. Second, a true friend is authentic and honest with you. A true friend is not only honest about themselves, but they're also honest about you. They're able to have difficult conversations and telling you things that sometimes you may not be eager to hear. The key is that they do it in love and with grace. A precious quote from Bernard Meltzer, he's a contemporary writer, says this: "A true friend is someone who thinks you are a good egg, even though they know you are slightly cracked." Third, a real friend accepts you as you are. They can encourage you to become a better version of you, but they also help you to see the beauty of who you are right now in all of your uniqueness. Fourth, a true friend wants what's best for you. A false friend might push you to change for them. A true friend acknowledges your feelings, but at the same time points you towards a happier, healthier life. They learn the art of being your biggest cheerleader while holding you accountable to your goals as well. Fifth, a true friend does not abandon you. Fair weather friends are with you when you're happy and successful. Then when things go wrong for you, they move on to the next happy, successful person. A true friend, on the other hand, stays with you through traumas, disappointments, mental health crises, and physical illnesses because they care about you and don't want you to go through life's challenges alone. And 6, you find your own definition of a true friend. And now every one of us has our own ideal friend, right? But you will recognize that no friend is perfect and no friend will be able to be everything to you. Even true friends will sometimes disappoint. But if the disappointment you are experiencing in a friendship has become consistent, the hurt happening over and over again, it may be time to redefine your definition of that relationship. Now, Jesus clearly equates that being a true friend embodies love at its best. When we reflect on Jesus' life, death, and resurrection, we see that he embodies love, the kind of love found between true friends. He had the backs of others. He stood up for those society rejected, exploited, abused, and shunned. Jesus was authentic and honest. While people always didn't want to hear what he was saying about their lives and behaviors and priorities, he always spoke the truth in love and with grace. Jesus accepted people for who they were. I mean, look at the ragtag group of people he chose as his disciples. He chose them just like he chooses us, even though we are frail, flawed human beings, because deep down he sees us all as good eggs who may be slightly cracked. Jesus always did what was best for others. He wanted them to have abundant, happy, and healthy lives. He wanted them to be healed and whole. He was their biggest cheerleader, but held them accountable so they could grow and live out their highest potential as God's children. Jesus never abandoned anyone. He stood by those whom most others would abandon. The woman caught in the act of adultery, the 10 lepers, the poor widow in the temple, the woman with a hemorrhage, the children people thought should be seen but not heard. He never abandoned them, and he never abandoned us either, all the way to the cross. And Jesus knew his definition of a true friend. Remember when he sent out the disciples to preach the good news, and he said to them, if a household or a person does not receive you, shake the dust from your feet and move on. I had an experience on Friday which moved me greatly. Libby and I went out to do some shopping, and she loves the Ethiopian market on Flower Avenue. Does anybody know where that is on Flower? Some people do. Yeah, we love that store. Well, sitting on the brick wall outside of the market was a homeless woman, surrounded by bags of her belongings. She was lost in her own world, chatting away into the air. As Libby neared the store, I pointed her out. And Libby shared that a post had gone out around the area about this woman, urging everyone to not give her any money because she would only buy drugs. Now I heard Peter's words in my head. How can anyone withhold some act of kindness to this woman who is also a child of God? As Libby went into the store, I took some money. I didn't have any food cards on me, but I took some money and I knelt down in front of her at her eye level. I didn't want to tower above her. And I said gently, hello, I'm Reverend Joan. What's your name? Her eyes lighted up. She stopped chattering. Her eyes lighted up. She looked at me and responded, my name is Morna. And we had a bit of a conversation about her being sick and thrown out of the hospital onto the streets with no resources at all. Well, I asked her if I could give her some money just to help a bit, and she looked at me in disbelief. I then told her about Ascension's homeless ministry, and I said I would let my church know where maybe they could find her. I then patted her on the shoulder and gave her a blessing, and she blessed me back, saying, God bless you too, Reverend. In this brief encounter, I felt my heart burning inside of me with loving compassion for this poor, mentally ill woman. I mean, a stranger whom I may never see again. And I pray that maybe I was able, in some itty-bitty small way, to bear some good fruit by being God's vehicle of love for her in this one chance meeting. As we drove away, the words of a famous Beatles song kept coming to me. The song Eleanor Rigby, a song about a lonely priest and a lonely woman. When Eleanor dies, he's the only one at her grave. The refrain sings, look at all the lonely people. Where do they all come from? All the lonely people. Where do they all belong? My friends, Jesus calls us to abide, to remain faithful in his love, the kind of love he embodied as a true friend in his day and the kind of love he embodies as our true friend in the here and now. So when we are tempted to ask, look at all the lonely people, where do they all come from? All the lonely people, where do they all belong? Jesus gives us the answers. It doesn't matter where they come from, or who they are, or what their past is, or what their present is. We are to love them. And all the lonely people, where do they belong? They belong to us, to our helping hands, to our unconditional acceptance, to our compassion, our generosity, and our communities of faith. If only we would stop, look, listen, and give them the loving dignity they deserve as our brothers and sisters, maybe they know too where they belong. They belong to us, and they belong to God. Amen.